Well, when companies go woke, they often go broke. And there was a perfect example last week. The top-selling beer brand in the US, Bud Light, decided to go real woke and now has a major hangover. Let's check it out. So according to media reports, Budweiser, which sells the low-calorie beer Bud Light, suffered a bloodbath in the past week or so. Consumers across the United States revolted against the nation's top-selling beer brand after it stepped recklessly into the culture wars with its new spokesperson, transgender TikTok star Dylan Mulvaney. Now, in case you haven't heard of transgender activist Dylan Mulvaney, this is Dylan as a biological male, and this is Dylan Mulvaney now after hormone replacement therapy, facial feminization surgery, including hairline advancement, a brow bone shaver, a rhinoplasty, a cheek enhancement, a lip lifted, a jaw shave, a chin reduction, and a tracheal shave. Now, Mulvaney has been living as a woman for 1 year and has grown a large following on TikTok and Instagram, charting his, quote, days of girlhood, end quote. And in this short clip, Dylan Mulvaney and Jeffrey Marsh have an in-depth discussion about what it truly means to be a girl. The problem is that, like Dylan, Jeffrey was the first non-binary public figure to appear on national television, and Jeffrey was the first celebrity activist to use they-them pronouns. His bestseller is How to Be You, the first non-binary memoir, How to Be You, but not the biological you. So this is two dudes talking about what it's like to be a woman.
In, but who's allowing? That's the real question.
Who is?
You know?
I don't. Maybe there isn't one. And maybe that's the beautiful part of it. Do you have any relationship to the concept of girlhood?
I absolutely do. I find girlhood to be inspiring. There are a lot of human beings who are girls who transcend what their gender is supposed to be.
Yes.
And that to me is something I draw strength from and excitement from.
Absolutely. And I hope this is the start of a lifelong friendship. What do you think, people?
I love you all.
Yeah, well, we think it's not quite normal. It's not biological. But, of course, President Biden is a big fan, not only of Dylan Mulvaney, but for all children being chemicalized and castrated in an attempt to become the opposite sex.
You know, sometimes they try to block you from being able to access certain medicines, being able to access certain procedures, and so on. None of that should be available. I mean, you know, no state should be able to do that, in my view. So I feel very, very strongly that that you should have every single solitary right, including use of your gender identity bathrooms in public.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep, and Vice President Kamala Harris sent him best wishes on his first year as a girl. So where does Bud Light come into it? Well, they launched a campaign with Dylan Mulvaney, and Anheuser-Busch is the US-listed stock. That's one of the largest brewing companies in the world. It owns such brands as Stella Artois, Beck's, and Budweiser. And during March Madness, Mulvaney posted a reel on his Instagram account of himself enjoying a can of Bud Light. Mulvaney said Bud Light sent him cans of beer to celebrate day 365 of womanhood.
Having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate. This month, I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it. Check out my Instagram story to see how you can enjoy March Madness with Bud Light and maybe win some money too. Love ya! Cheers! Go team! Whatever team you love, I love too. Okay. Love ya. Okay, break a leg. Woo!
Yeah, but when some Bud Light beer drinkers learned of the brand's campaign with Mulvaney, beer drinkers, they were less than pleased. One Grammy Award-winning star said they'll be deleting all Bud Light products from their tour hospitality rider. That was Travis Tritt, who's very well known in the US. Sales of the bottled products dropped 30% over the weekend after that announcement. That video that we just saw, while draft beer plummeted 50% as well in some places. And now they're estimating that the company value has dropped, well, it's around $3 to $5 billion, although that is small change for a multi-billion-dollar beer company, but there could be long-term reputational damage. And since the brand launched its ad campaign, some social media users have shared videos shooting cans of Bud Light with shotguns and committing to ditch the product. Now, how could this happen? Well, Bud Light Vice President of Marketing, Elisa Heinerscheid, said she was inspired to update the fratty and out-of-touch humour of the beer company with, get this word, inclusivity, in a March 30 interview with the Make Yourself at Home podcast. Have a watch. Inclusivity. It always spells problems. It always spells going woke.
It's in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time. And if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light. So I had this super clear mandate. It's like we need to evolve and elevate this incredibly iconic brand. And what I brought to that was a belief in, okay, what does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone. It means having a campaign that's truly inclusive and feels lighter and brighter and different and appeals to women and to men. And representation is at sort of the heart of evolution. You've got to see people who reflect you in the work. And we had this hangover. I mean, Bud Light had been kind of a brand of fratty, kind of out of touch humor, and it was really important that we had another approach.
Yeah, it's interesting because they say they want to be an inclusive and appealing to women, but dudes pretending to be women doesn't appeal to women, interestingly. And what commentators say is that what this marketing lady misunderstood is that Americans don't want a side of woke agenda and nonsense served with their beer. Most Americans remain loyal to the truth that we're born male or female and that it's a biological reality that doesn't change, no matter what a man in a dress or a virtue signaling beer company believes. And commentators said, I think society flexes its muscles sometimes and reminds manufacturers that the consumer is still in charge. In Bud Light's effort to be inclusive, they excluded almost everybody else, including their traditional audience. And one consultant said this, and I think this sums it up perfectly. They said, sometimes you just want to drink a beer without getting a lecture on social or political commentary or someone's sexual orientation. Actually, I think you can probably apply that to purchasing most products. But then, next minute, Nike joined the party and became the latest big-name company to face pushback from social media users for partnering again with transgender activist Dylan Mulvaney. He's doing very well. Mulvaney unveiled his paid partnership with Nike on Wednesday in several posts to Instagram, where he wore some of the company's activewear, including pants and a sports bra. Alert the media, I'm entering my workout era. So this is a dude who's marketing women's exercise gear. Okay, that's enough of that. As a result, Nike faced increasing backlash from women over having Dylan Mulvaney promote the company's apparel. And so they had a burn bra challenge, which was launched on TikTok. Retired British Olympian swimmer Sharon Davies called it a kick in the teeth to women.
Behaving, in a way that's very unsportslike, it's very unathletic. And it's just so frustrating when only 1% of the US sponsorship dollar in the whole of the USA goes to actual females in sport, that they would then do this. It just seems like literally like a kick in the teeth constantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting. And remember the furor around Disney going woke? They said reimagine tomorrow, but it was according to a radical leftist sexual agenda, and people pushed back against Disney's grooming efforts. And I had a look at their most recent share price, and you can see it's been all downhill. That earlier drop was COVID, and then they sort of recovered, but the latest drop is another virus. It's called wokeness. As they say, go woke, go broke. And then just over the weekend, there was this example of a luxury lingerie brand, Burdette, who say they are by women, for women, but they posted ads featuring a male in women's bra and panties. Look, if the transgender community want to target products at themselves, that's one thing. But when they target beer drinkers with blokes who identify as girls, when they target women with products like bras using dudes who don't even need bras, and when children-focused businesses like Disney target kids with sexualized and gender ideology type agendas, then those businesses deserve the backlash. Wokeness has proved time and time again that it is just as bad for business as it is for the country. But it's also a great reminder that you have power. It's purchasing power. Spend your money on businesses who aren't wanting to ram gender ideology, sexual preference, environmental worship, and critical race theory down your throat. You'll feel a lot happier and sleep much better.